It involves a flute. I don't want to know.
Are we live? Chris Scott says we're live. We're live. What's going on, everybody?
Well then.
Welcome back to the Dusty Auspex. I am Fabio.
I'm Kyle. And we have a special guest.
Yep, now you can say your name.
Thank you.
I'm Brenden.
If you didn't already know, this is Brenden. Hi, Brenden. All right, so we got a lineup of stuff today. Obviously, Brenden is here because there's a lot of guard stuff, and he is our guard guy, one of our guard guys in this community. So we thought we'd bring him on, get some feedback from him, and hopefully calm the internet rage.
Never.
Never.
Those fires must be lit.
There's always something new. There's always. So look, guard's
The
dropped.
signals have gone to our lit.
Guard has dropped, so now we've got new stuff to complain about, like Eldar
Until
and whatever.
Eldar drops.
But anyway, irregardless, let's we're gonna.
That burns me every time, man.
It hurts my pinky. Anyway, so first up, we want to get some housekeeping out of the way. So Twin Eagles.
Yep.
It is upon us, gentlemen and ladies. It is.
Email has been sent.
Email's been sent. It's we're about 2 weeks out, just over 2 weeks out.
We're almost there.
We're almost there. We are in the home stretch. So yes, the email went out last night, or this morning. So if you didn't get it,
It was earlier today.
yeah, if you didn't get it, make sure to message the 40 Below page, and we will make sure to get it to you. So message us with your current email address. Because there are a few people that had bounce backs. There are a few people that might... Last night or this morning. So if you didn't get it...
It was earlier today.
Yeah, if you didn't get it, make sure to check that. Don't wait till the last minute. So this email basically covers more or less a lot of the...
I would say some of the crucial things for the
a lot of the pre-event, bonus points, stuff like that.
Things that I'd like to highlight is the list submission, of course.
Yeah, list submission. Army list at 40belowgaming.com. Very simple.
Yeah, reading the chat is one of the best parts.
Yeah.
Grow a pair, buddy. Ooh. Grow a pair.
You can't say that.
Can't say pair.
Totally kidding. I'm offended or something. I don't know. Whatever. Anyway.
You'll offend the apples.
Yeah, so list submissions, very important.
Absolutely.
It also talks about the rules updates. There's a link to our most recent rules.
Mentions that, of course, Guard made the cutoff.
Yep.
But leaves a caveat in there for the FAQs. If anything comes out between now and then, the FAQs are legal. We'll give you, at that point, I think it was a 72-hour period to resubmit the list for any changes based on the FAQs.
Yeah, so basically,
as long as you adjustments or whatever happening,
right.
You've got to make the list adjustments.
What we figured kind of was fair was, as long as it's units that have actual change, like if your army has units in it that have point changes, you will need to obviously amend your list, and we'll give you that 72-hour grace period.
Right.
If your army does not have any point changes, then your list is set, and you can't be like, oh, these got cheaper, so I want to add them in kind of thing.
It's not permission to add anything.
No, that's not really what we're trying to do.
It's just if it affects the overall points from what you have currently submitted,
then we need amendments. But we obviously want to just be a little flexible there. We want to make sure everyone has a nice time.
I hear flexibility is a good thing.
Yes, fact. It also talks about making sure you bring 5 printed, legible army lists. Please do not just print out Battlescribe on 7 pages.
And look, we've got 16-ish days at this point before tournament. This is like the warning. Guys, get on top of it. There's no excuse for Friday going, I don't have it. Can someone print it off?
Right, exactly.
You're going to be writing out your list at that point, and I've done it before on a Saturday of a tournament, and it sucks trying to make 5 legible lists that quickly.
Just go to Staples. It takes like, at worst, with the USB, it takes like 5 minutes. It's like $1. They're black and white, whatever. Yeah. But anyway, so yeah, army lists. Talks about some of the merchandise we've got, the Destiny dice, bumper stickers. Actually, funny story about the bumper stickers. Aaron that runs AYB, he saw the bumper sticker on the back of my vehicle and drove up beside me and started yelling at me while my music was blaring. I didn't realize it, and I saw this guy like waving in his hand and stuff, and like pointing his hat because it said AYB on it. And I was just like looking, like, who the fuck is this guy? And then I was just like, oh, it's Aaron. He's like, AYB. I was like, how do you know who I was? I messaged Scott. He's like, yeah, he already messaged me. He's like, I was like, how do you know it was me? He's like, saw the bumper sticker. I was like, yeah, bumper sticker.
Bumper sticker.
Nobody knows what this bumper sticker is, but
advertising.
But the people that do, oh yes.
But isn't that the point?
Yes.
Yes.
Part of the club, the gang.
If you're on the end.
Anyway, so yeah, we'll have stuff like that. Our webpage is coming up, so we have a lot of new swag that's going to be coming up.
Yes, we've had some ideas. We've bounced a few things back and forth. It's very exciting.
Yeah, so I mean, we're not going to order and have stuff in, but as people want them, we will put orders together and place them for those items. So it'll be kind of cool.
I would suggest that typing lists is rocket science.
Borderline rocket science.
Borderline.
Is that Steve?
That's Steve.
Steve, aren't you still working on a list to play Kyle and I? God, figure your shit out, man.
Come on, host versus host. We gotta do this.
Whoa. I don't know if... Anyway. Yeah, cool. Pairings. The trending thing now is to do them live. So on the 19th here at PvP on the Dusty Auspex, which will be next week.
Yes.
We are going to be drawing the pairings live. So that'll be exciting. So make sure to tune in for that.
And I think we have a full house.
We do have a full house. We have everybody on deck. So it'll be fun. We'll just we're just gonna talk about everyone's armies. Give some insight on what we think about the first games. Maybe place some bets. I don't know. Just kidding. We can't do that.
No extra points for team looks.
No.
No.
And then also in the email, there's some
you got to coordinate the beards exactly.
Oh,
yeah.
Fuck.
And also there's at the bottom there's a little bit more housekeeping items that you're gonna want to read. So don't read half the email and give up.
Yeah.
Definitely read the whole email. It's very important.
Yeah, we do encourage it. This is something that will help you for the event. It'll help things go smoother for you, for everyone else.
Jeez.
And in the end, that's kind of the goal.
Also, before I forget, if you haven't submitted team names yet, get it done. If anybody has Team 1 or Team 7 or some bullcrap like that as your team name because you didn't bring anything in,
I'll make a damn name for you.
I'm gonna deduct points. Oh, yeah, actually, that might be funnier. We should have some random names that just
and I'm not very creative, so they're not going to be good names.
So there's that. That's kind of it for the email and Twin Eagles right now. So be sure to tune in next week for that.
Next week, of course, is the major one.
For the drawing of pairing, stuff like that. Next, I want to talk about the League. The League is almost done. You lazy people, it's 4 months. 4 months. Over here, there's the camera. I gotta look at the camera.
I
4
think
months.
Momentum is kind.
Momentum is. Let's get those last games in. Reach out to your opponents. Get that game in, please, please, please. I know David is chomping at the bits to give us results, so please, get that done.
Sudden death round that involves shots. I don't think anyone wants to go against Steve and Ovi in that round. Just saying.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
Yeah.
Might kill some people.
Yeah.
We're going to compete with those two.
Yeah, no, that's not happening.
No.
Upon further review, no. We're going to stick to the board game.
Catan is what you have to do if you tie. Sorry.
Oh, jeez.
Ooh, interesting. Okay. So, on that note, I'm going to segue.
It's an endurance test to see who can get through the wood for sheep jokes.
Okay. So let's talk about games and painting. Yeah. So
Hobby time.
Yes. Hobby time. Insert graphic. Just kidding. We don't have graphic. Anyway. So games and painting. Games. What have you got any games in over the last couple weeks? I know it's been a couple weeks since we've talked, but any games?
Yeah, I've had a few. Probably the most interesting or fun little game was on Sunday. I was at GW. There was 3 of us looking for a game. So to balance that out, I did 3,000 points. The other guys did 1,500 each.
Okay.
I was against one player, Death Guard, and the other player was running the New Guard, the Astra Militarum.
Okay.
And holy crap, did he soak up my stratagems.
Really?
Oh, yeah. Every time I was spending a command point, he had, I can't remember if it was a relic or a warlord trait. On a 5+, he would gain it. Like, he would gain a command point.
Really?
Oh, yeah. It was hilarious. And then he took another, either relic or warlord trait, like whatever the combo was. And every time he used one on a 5+, he would get it back. Plus, he had a Calidus Assassin in the list. So every time during the first round I use a stratagem, or a command point stratagem, I use a roll 4+, and I have to spend another command point. Or the ones I already spent go away and it doesn't do anything. It was a command point draining machine. It was insane. Really fun game though. We played the open war cards. Essentially, you were trying to get to the middle. Whoever held the objective there at the end of the game, the end of the 5th round, was going to be the winner. And Death Guard player Death Watch player, I should say, slammed everything into me. frag cannons, everything. Killed Magnus turn 1, but I took basically all 3,000 points of shooting.
Wow.
Then it just turned into a grind to be throwing the Demon Princes and the Flamers and the Lord of Change. Took the Death Watch down, and then it was kind of me and the guard battling back and forth, which ended up just being hopping Demon Princes from vehicle to vehicle until it was done. It was a fun game. None of us really had a bad time. Everyone was enjoying it. No really crappy rolls were happening for anyone, and you know, that's a good thing to avoid.
Yeah, no kidding.
On your end, anything interesting for games?
Nope, no games for me. Shocking, I know. Brendan?
Honestly,
anything?
I haven't been playing gaming much. I've just been taking a breather. Just I don't
Getting
know.
yourself on pace for Twin Eagles?
I'd like to
Doing
say
some
getting
lunges,
myself on
DVs.
Twin Eagles, but to be honest, like I've got some models I need to paint up, and I've just been really lazy with that.
Yeah.
I've actually been trying to. Yeah, I've basically been trying to clean out my collection at home.
Yeah,
I
you've
had
been
a
selling
bunch
a
of
lot.
stuff. I've been
down.
trimming down.
Brendan is
cutting the
a
fat.
borderline hoarder.
Just a 40K.
Just with 40K.
Just a 40K. So I trimmed a lot of the collection down, got basically like where I wanted to be realistically with the army, like with my favorite armies, instead of having like a bunch of multiple stuff. Like I had Necrons for years, and I think I played 4 games of them in 7th. So
Yeah,
I know
one
this
of them
guy's
was against my
addicted.
Harlequins.
Yeah,
That
one
was
against the
hilarious.
Harlequins. I enjoyed them, but I never got around to playing them. And I'm like, hey, this guy likes Necrons. It's like his crack cocaine. So sold some to Fabio, sold some to other guys, sent some stuff to the
It's
States.
true. It's like if you offer me
It was like-
Zinch.
Yeah, Zinch, like these guys are easy to sell that shit to. So if you ever have Necrons,
Hook
to
it
sell,
to
my
Zinch,
veins.
Right? Right? You just have to know your target audience.
They grind it up and they. Never mind.
Anyway,
Future damn
well, that's good. Okay, so no. Then the next part was obviously painting.
Painting.
What's on the
Conscripts.
table? Conscripts. Oh God.
Painting an ugly astropath too. Not ugly. I just decided, hey, what's really ugly looking colors that go together? Purple and orange. So he's gonna be purple and orange.
Oh my god, that's the
The
best.
I
color
have the
wheel says
paint-
no.
So I
color
figured-
wheel definitely
It doesn't
says
really
no.
look that bad, but when I look at it, I'm like, yeah, whatever. It's an astropath. Like, who gives a fuck?
It reminds me of the color scheme of a lot of, like
He's
early
some-
90s
he's some kind of
cartoons
wonderful.
where it would just be the stupidest colors.
Yeah, it's
yeah.
like 80s or 90s 40K when you used to see it's like you had the rainbow on one figure. It's like I tried to kind of do that. It's a Skittle mix.
It's just
It looks
Skittle mix.
nice.
Okay. Okay.
All right. Okay. I guess we'll allow it. Kyle.
Nothing 40K.
940K. Well, that's okay.
Yep. Yep.
All
Get
right.
out.
Yeah.
Right. No,
Brendan, this is where you kick out his chair. And Kyle's been booted from the show. No big deal. And then I guess on my end, I have actually been going live again on our Facebook page. I'm going to try and do that a little more. I actually was starting to paint up some of the Necrons I bought from Brendan, along with all the other stuff that's been sitting
nice.
in my cases. I actually had to buy a new case today from from IKEA. I needed another one, so I'm now up to 6. No big deal. That's a lot of Necrons. It hurts my insides a little bit.
You should have an 8-pug game.
No, I don't want to transport any of that.
I'll come over.
Okay, all right, deal. There it is. All right.
You heard it here first, folks.
Yeah, Brendan wants to
It's a good
pack
thing I
up
have a
his
truck. I'll just put it all my guard in the bed.
Yeah, I
of
don't
my
even
truck.
know where I'd put everything. Okay.
Oh.
Anyway.
Okay, just take Primaris and Rage. You'll need like one case.
Oh, God, let's not talk about those. No, those are dumb. Okay, so good. Everyone's kind of getting some. Oh, I have a game this weekend, or tomorrow against Dan.
Yeah,
Get to play
that's gonna
some
be super
orcs.
fun.
Oh, nice.
I haven't played a game in a little while. Very excited. And then the next week, I have a game against Ryan Block. Yep.
Ryan Block? Oh, that'll be fun. He's
The
good.
man, the myth, the legend. I know.
Whatever
Nice.
happened to your once a month gaming thing into battle reports?
Yeah, that was, I think, last year, wasn't it?
Man, I don't.
Yeah, no battle
sorta.
reports were done. That I literally don't know how to do it well, and time is just not something I have a lot
The
of.
transition from 7th to 8th ended it, essentially.
Did it? I don't know. I thought I ended after. Brendan and I think, were the ones that got playing, but yeah. So I don't know. I got the first few games in, and then it just fell apart. Things just kept getting rescheduled, and I don't even know.
Yeah, I know. It tends to happen. Well, good. Good to hear that you got some games scheduled. Good to hear there's some games on the horizon.
Yeah.
I know I've got one tomorrow night, and I might have to pull my punches a little bit.
Uh-oh. Who you playing?
Kyle, the hassle. The hassle.
I'm playing Kate tomorrow night at Hidden City. We're gonna teach her some tricks of the demons, and I'm gonna build an appropriate list. So
After playing Kate, I don't think she'll ever want to play a game again.
Kate,
Whoa,
Kate,
not that bad, man.
Kate literally
Okay,
hasn't
I-
lost
Dad,
yet.
I feel
I am.
sorry for
Just
you
for the
already.
record, she hasn't lost yet, so I don't know.
Really?
Oh,
Oh, this just in, she has lost the game. She's dead. Done. Nope. Oh. What? You let OV beat you? Oh, God. He's like...
Apparently, Steve and Dan have something special planned to take us on. I don't know. I don't think you can
something
take Necrons
special.
and demons.
They are special. I know.
I know Steve's
okay.
probably going to throw his new AdMac down.
Oh, David's
really
in the chat,
those.
guys. Look out. He's going to be trolling everyone for their damn league's results.
Right?
Watch yourselves.
And yes, Homer.
How'd you
NID Codex have given us a little taste.
Yeah. So actually, let's with that in mind, let's drop into what's coming up.
Well, thanks to the White Dwarf leak, we know that November 4th is pre-order for NIDS.
NIDS. Boom, NIDS.
Yeah. Marin, you think he's away somewhere.
NIDS.
He's competing this weekend.
He's running or something.
Obstacle Course Worlds or whatever it is.
They all get medals for participating.
Qualifiers for the Worlds, yeah.
It doesn't count.
Yeah, and then Eldar is...
the rumor is this weekend or the weekend after for pre-order, because Eldar's coming before NIDS.
Of course they are. Cool. And yeah, the boxes for getting started for both the armies.
Yes, 2 new getting started collections.
Yeah, we were talking a lot about the Eldar one, kind of like...
I'm puzzled about it right now, but I'm betting there's a strategy.
There's got to be something to it.
Sense.
But actually, I really like the NID one. Like that was literally what I kind of wanted for my like if I was to start an army, that is what I was thinking. Like I was feeling a lot of Gene Stealers, Brood Lords, and then have the big Trigons to like burrow in and stuff. And I was like, oh my god, it's all in a box.
Yeah,
it's all. I just need a bow.
I found out that you could do that Trigon thing where it pops out of the ground and brings units with it, which is really sick. But Marin always used Gaunts, and then one day we were gaming at like Yuri's place, and I was just like, hey, I saw a battle report. You didn't have Gene Stealers come out of that hole? He's like, yeah. I'm like, the hell haven't you done that? Like, why are you using Hormagaunts? Because like, I like throwing stuff up. I'm like, Gene Stealers kill things. Hormagaunts just annoy people.
Hormagaunts do tie things up like crazy.
They are.
Especially that 6-inch consolidate, if you're clever with that.
That 6-inch is good. But if you're ever running conscripts, it doesn't really matter. I mean, you just got to get through one wave at a time.
After
not all of us can run conscripts, okay, Brenden? God.
Well, not all of us.
Fair enough.
Anyway. So,
Orc Codex, I know a lot of people are looking forward to that one. At this point, I'm betting next year, hopefully earlier than later.
You guys aren't on the priority. Sorry, facts suck.
we need orcs.
Though
I really want to see orcs.
I miss orc players. They used to be my favorite games because like a bunch of models on the table, and even though you would chew through like 60 orc boys, there was still like another 90 coming towards you on top of other vehicles. But it was fun for everybody because you killed a lot of models, but he got a ton of attacks when he reached you, and it was just like a big slugfest.
And I've honestly never had a bad game playing.
Orcs are
usually
fun.
They're the most twisted, converted individuals. Like the work they do with the plastic card. It's off the charts.
They're the master converters for sure. They're the guys who spend the most time, I'd say, outside of Chaos.
I'll never Dave Bonslar and Alex Bedard.
Oh, Alex Bedard.
Alex Bedard's got some crazy stuff. If you don't follow him on Facebook, man, some of his new stuff that he's getting together, it is super cool. You'll see it at Twin Eagles. Yeah, it'll be really. It's really nice. Then let's.
I always find that's one of the traits of the doubles events, or like Twin Eagles, is he's always got something to highlight. In that
well, yeah, he has. You know what? Honestly, he's one of the guys that hasn't been out a whole lot lately, but he's been doing a lot of work in his workshop, tinkering. So
he's a good mech.
He's a good mech. Yeah, he did good, kids. He did good. Then we got so we talked about the start collecting boxes. We got a lot of Plague Marine stuff, or I guess Nurgle.
Yeah, this is the last wave.
Last wave. We've got some new guys. I hate the Plague Marine Champion, but I love his little minion. His minion is this Nurgling is a boss.
He's got sassy Nurgling.
Yeah, he's got a helmet.
Hi.
Does he? I can't remember now. Let's see if I can pull it up quick. It has a little spike in the helmet.
Yeah.
Yeah, it has a little.
It mirrors him. Yeah.
Perfect. No, it's he's adorable. So
so much
for
for
that.
Grimdark.
Azrael, I don't believe that it will have the Gene Stealer cult in it. Since they've gone separate, you're probably going to see a NID Codex, and then you're going to see the Gene Stealer
They
Codex.
also said that all codexes that were released in 7th would all get their own individual codexes at some point. So I don't think you have to worry about Gene Stealer cult. Well, unless you want to be amalgamated, but I think they want to sell that separately just because they'll have unique rules.
Yeah. And I think
army.
the amalgamation will be in the code, the keywords at the bottom.
It'll be the keywords.
So I think it'll still be there, so you're not going to lose that if that was what you really wanted. But at the same time, you'll have your own book, and so
Exactly.
Yeah.
Don't fear.
What else we got?
Don't
Icon
fear the
Bear,
siege.
stuff like that. The Plague Burst Crawlers. Really like the look of them.
They just came out this last weekend.
Very much I don't know. I think their functionality just...
One of the guys there
think
was
they look
building
weird.
it, and it looks about rhino size, maybe a touch bigger.
Okay.
That sounds weird though, because the Plague Marines are a lot bigger than regular Marines.
Yeah, but this is
to
just a
have
mortar.
that thing. Yeah, I guess that's true.
They're not
That's true.
transporting any of the bodies. It's just like, here's some filth.
Oh, fantastic.
They're
Yeah,
loaded with
right.
Nurglings, man. God.
Oh man,
Reverse BFI.
Nurgling cannon.
Anyway, yeah, no, exactly. And then last, my favorite new unit, the Forge-Rolled, I call it the big-ass tank, Astrius,
I think it's Astra.
Astrius?
Yeah.
Oh, it's
The
definitely
thoughts.
ass.
the Primaris super heavy.
a.k.a. the tank from Halo.
The wallet killer.
No big deal. The Wallet Killer.
Oh my
the
God.
Slayer of Wallets!
Okay, and the reason I'm saying that is because
is the-
they are talking about it being a centerpiece like the Thunderhawk. So you're looking roughly same range. I'd say it's at least $600.
So what do you guys think of the model?
I'd have to see it like in person to get a really good impression of it. For now, I think it looks blocky and awkward, and like
I mean,
know
we could
they're-
build it at a Lego.
I know they're going for the grab thing.
I don't
because
know.
it's Primaris. Like they're trying to.
It
give
seriously
them the
reminds
grab,
me of the
but
tank.
It's like they just took a Sakaran, upscaled it, slapped a few. Yeah.
Brenden, any thoughts?
I don't like any Primaris things. I think they're a horrible shoe into this edition. I think they're really lame, and I think that tank does not help at all. Like, not for the fluff of 40k that I've known ever since I started playing.
Oh no,
Like
no.
this,
Your fluff is dead, man. I'm
this,
sorry.
Fluff isn't a word.
yeah, sorry, this is the backstory thing.
Brendan will be
Sorry,
gone
he's
after the
gone.
break. Don't worry.
I'm done.
Unfortunately.
Yeah, I don't like it. I think, like I said, it looks like that big tank from Halo, like the first Halo. It really pisses me off. I think yes, it does look very boxy.
Like every Space
I
Marine
think
thing. It's the
they,
same thing
like-
with the Storm Raven.
Especially because it's
everything.
something new, they really could have, one-upped everything again. And I feel like
I
they
think
just,
they could have made it look a little more streamlined than it is.
yeah, like I
Like
don't.
you don't have to go full custodes, smooth lines, but a blend between that and the boxiness would have looked a little.
I
better.
mean,
It doesn't look like it should be floating. It
I mean,
shouldn't be
I get
grabbed.
OV. I don't know why you like it, but I mean, then again, I don't know.
He
I
does
don't
drink a
understand
lot
you
of
half the
beer.
time, so whatever.
Although the little preview of that main weapon, it has the accelerator, 12 shots, -2 on the AP, 3 damage.
Oh, I don't doubt this thing's gonna be like a wrecking
yeah.
ball. Like,
It's Forge
I mean, it's
World.
gonna be a $600 wrecking ball, but I mean, whether you want to throw it at someone or actually use it on the tabletop, it's gonna wreck things.
That's almost a brand new army, depending what you buy. For one model.
Yeah, I would say it gives them a couple tools that they're able to make the tanks fairly useful.
we
They
gotta-
already
Whoa.
were.
We can't bring that up yet. We're not talking about
Yeah,
it.
I know. This is me answering quickly. You're going to be able to
Yeah,
cover it all.
we've got the second. So in the second half of the show, guys, we're gonna be diving into the Astra Militarum. Imperial Guard, whatever you want to call them.
Astra what? You're in the guards, son.
Yeah, I saw that. That was actually really funny.
And very appropriate that it was Clint Eastwood that used for that.
Oh, thank God.
So we're gonna be diving to that pretty hard. So
Absolutely. Brendan, for those that don't know, is a longtime guard player. I'll let him introduce himself a little more once we get to that talk.
Yeah.
But he is definitely the guy you want to listen to for this.
So yeah, guys, any pre-orders, anything that's coming out, anything you want, make sure to head down to Hidden City or to give George a call.
Absolutely.
You save the
Incredibly
taxes.
accommodating.
Yeah, great guy there.
Yeah.
He's doing a lot for us. He'll be
Appreciates
at
the business.
yeah, absolutely, and he'll be at Twin Eagles. He'll have some booths there. So will Byron
Yep.
with
his Northern Lights terrain.
Northern Lights terrain. Yeah,
Absolutely. That's
So
what
if
we
you
want.
guys are looking for some neat terrain, you want to talk about maybe designing something, or if you just want to pick up some dice or stuff like
Yep.
that, George is there.
Yep.
So those guys are going to be there on site all day.
And Byron
Saturday.
has a nice range from
Yeah.
affordable to premium,
Really,
let's
yeah,
say.
Yeah, exactly. So there's nothing short. If you need something to fit your table that's existing or to start something new, Byron's always good about that. Even like tokens, all that kind of stuff. He's got a whole bunch of stuff, so it's really cool. I did see a question. Does the new grinding advance
Yeah.
and pound them to dust make?
The tanks again.
Oh, okay.
Best
So
of
we'll
tanks,
actually hold that question till after the break.
which will be pretty,
Yeah. Actually, you know what? We're gonna jump. On that note, we're gonna actually jump to break now because we got a lot to cover in the second half. We won't be doing a top 10 this week. YOLO. So
for top 10 fans, you got Dan and Steve back next week to carry us, so we'll be good.
Yeah, we'll get the B squad on that one for you, so don't sweat it. So yeah, we're gonna head to break, and we'll be back shortly. So don't go away.
Alright, folks.
We are back.
And as promised, we have a resident guard expert, Chrustie.
So Brenden, we'll let you lead. Tell us a little bit about your Astra Militarum, aka Guard experience, how long you've been playing, how many points you got, and then we'll dive right into the new book.
Well, I've been playing Guard, I like to say comfortably for 14 years. I started playing when the GW store opened up in the mall, St. Patel, and I walked in and I was captivated by, my first model was a Nurgle Chaos Space Marine, but that wasn't what drew my attention. It was Imperial Guard. I don't know why, but something about them just really stuck out to me. My first model was an Imperial Guard heavy weapon team. Built it up as a heavy bolter, put the ammunition on the wrong side. I put it where the casings are supposed to shoot out. I mean, 10-year-old mistakes, right? Anyways, that was my first model.
Awesome.
And basically, I spent years collecting an army, getting like I had a 500-point army. It took me like a year because I was 10. I worked part-time with my dad and saved my money. And basically slowly built up an army. Then one day I was like, I want to start fresh. So I sold all my guard stuff and eventually bought a bunch of stuff, rebuilt the guard army. Had a comfortable 1500, then 1850 list. I thought, hey, this is what I'm going to play for the rest of my 40K career. And as we know,
career,
40K,
ladies and gentlemen.
Career.
Yeah, career. As we know, it never works out that way. And I ended up buying more guard stuff. We never stop at just 2,000 points.
Oh, no. Never.
So I ended up buying more guard stuff.
Where's the fun in that?
I really don't know how many points I have. I've slowly.
And as we know, career, ladies and gentlemen.
Career.
Yeah. And as time goes on, I really want some of the old metal casterkins that used to come with the guard stuff. But yeah, guard are my first love. I have to say Black Templars are my second. If anybody knows me, they know I'm really sad that I'm still missing a Black Templar.
So sour.
Man,
So sour.
To be honest, I don't think I'll ever get over that.
Until they give you.
But we're not here to talk about Black Templars. We're here to talk about Guard because I do love Guard.
I'm surprised we didn't stray away there.
Guard are my. It's not. I know it was hard. Guard have been my number one army for years, and I honestly brought them to the tournaments the most out of all my armies.
Yes.
And
That's something that always impressed me in 7th, was you kept grinding with the guard.
I played guard, so I've been playing guard since 4th edition. I still have the codex at home. I have the 5th edition codex, which led into like the 6th, 7th edition codex, and now I have the brand new one here with me. So I've definitely been playing for a while, and it's one of those armies I stuck to my guns with. So I played it like back in 3rd/4th when it was considered like underpowered and not the best. And then 5th edition brought it like to the point where that was like kind of the powerhouse army of that edition. Like mech vets never really ran mech vets. Yeah, the leaf blower. But I ran other lists like more of a static gun line, and that did really well for me too. Like I had a lot of wins under my belt with that army. 6 and 7 came out, and again it was like struggling with the army because it changed. Like just like with all the codexes and what became like the big cheese of the time and what was like. This is the good tournament armies to go with, but for me it was like, I love guard and I'm going to stick with them. I played them with 7th edition. Yeah, I was going to bring Grey Knights to Plains of War this year, and I thought my buddies convinced me. They're like, hey, you should bring your guard, represent your guard. And I was like, it doesn't take much to convince me because I love guard. It's like, okay. And I'm like, what should I do? And they're like, they're like, what should I do? And they're like, I try to do something anti-meta. So I brought like a flyer-heavy guard list. And to my surprise, I ended up winning best overall at POW this year, which was very shocking because I was definitely getting burnt out. I played guard. I brought at the time it was that Crusade detachment that you would find in one of the Gathering Storm books. So I had a bunch of guard stuff. I had Codiez. I had it was basically guard with Codiez, give them all OBSEC, and if they died, you could recycle them on a 5-up, all the troop choices. And I brought that, and I almost barely had to recycle anything. Like, most of my guard stuff stayed alive throughout the whole tournament. It did really good.
Yeah, your survivability was way, way up. Your dice finally caught up with your generalship, is what I like to say.
I'm going to have to give thanks and shout out to OV for the beard dice, and Steve for the beard dice, because those actually rolled really well for me.
Those dice were rigged. Rigged dice.
If you want them.
What the beardos will do for W's.
Oh man.
It'll work though. Come on.
Won't they do for the W?
So, anyways, I sit here today with the brand new, fresh codex I've gone through. I know there's been a lot of fear-mongering online. Let me tell you, lots of people...
Some fake news, you would say?
Fake news?
Yeah, people get really worked up over this new codex.
It's like the equivalent of what, No, we're not going in.
They're getting really, really worked up over this. And I understand why, because it's like... let's be honest here, it's 40k, we're all 40k nerds. There'll always be that codex that everybody will look at and give the stink eye. It was Eldar in 7th.
The newest one.
Yanari,
Right.
Like, Death Guard, I heard, got that stink eye. Admech got that stink eye. Now Guard are getting it. Like, people are giving this codex a hard time. Be honest, from what I've heard online, people not having as much success as what other people are saying online when they initially look at the book. And it all comes down, and I think people forget this, generalship to the player. And, you could make a list
Not to mention, it's a dice game, right?
Yeah, it's a dice game.
Just because you can crunch the numbers and it all sounds perfect
doesn't mean it's gonna
play out, right?
Plus your tactics. Like, you can't just come into this game and be like, oh yeah, I got the math all set, I know what I'm doing. No, you need to know tactics too, because a savvy player will know, like, I got psychic power that could target that commissar and zap. And now I'll just shoot and kill like 10 conscripts. They're like leadership 4 or 5 or something. Yeah. So it's like, oh no, I just lost another 10 because I rolled my leadership test. You can only use that auto pass like once a turn for the 2 command points.
Absolutely.
So people will know, it's like, okay, I killed 10 from here, I killed 10 from here, maybe I get like 13 from here. All of a sudden, conscripts are fleeing and you're like, oh, okay, I can't like, I can keep this one squad alive.
Which squad is the most important?
Exactly. Okay. So I know conscripts are the big worry that everybody has. I think that being reduced down to 30-man units definitely helps. It definitely helps, guys, because less stuff to kill. Yeah, 4+ on orders. Yeah. Again, the big thing that I saw, a lot of people are running company commanders, and they would give them first rank fire, second rank fire. We can't do that now. It's not as reliable. It's on a 4-up that the order goes off.
It's not a guarantee.
It's not a guarantee anymore. So conscripts are really there for meat shields. And Errol, I totally agree with you. Guardsmen still shoot like guard. That 4-up to hit, you're not getting 50% all the time. I know, long-time guard player, it's like I shoot maybe 3 autocannons at a guy. I get 2 hits. I'm like, that's not average. And it's like you get 1 wound, and then the guy makes it. It's like, crap, I'm kind of screwed here. So guards still shoot like guard.
There are still weaknesses to guard.
Yeah. There's always weaknesses to an army. It's just learning how to play around them.
Absolutely.
Like, if you have an army that played really well in 7th and 6th, and you come to this edition, it might not play the exact same guys. You got to make a little bit of a change. Not be so like, yeah, you can't just look and be like, oh, this army worked for me great in 7th. Now it's like not worthwhile bringing, and now I'm going to bitch about it because it's not fair. It's like you need to adapt with the hobby. That's the whole point. It's like...
And just because you know what you're doing, doesn't, like, you know your army in and out, like, it's still something to know the other person's army, right? Exactly. Like, if you don't know the guard and you just say, like, okay, this is a conscript squad, they should be the same as the last edition, and just assume stuff like that down the line of all their units.
Knowledge is absolutely the biggest tool.
It again comes back to what Brenden had said earlier, like generalship, knowing your enemy better than your enemy knows themselves. It's a big, it's a huge thing.
Right.
Like, and that's why you need to kind of look into these armies. Just read reviews on them, or you can go. There's
battle reports.
Just
gotta see how they interact with the armies.
Like battle reports are always what I recommend.
Yeah, I know 1d4chan can be a little like weird sometimes, but if you just go for the reviews, they give a basic outline of the units, like the special rules in the codex,
I find
the
their
units.
tactics section's actually useful.
Tactics section can be useful too, depending on, like, everybody plays differently. Like, I play my guard differently than like somebody else in the city does. Like maybe Christian X, like he plays his guard differently. But you know, you can always feed off each other, and you play to how you enjoy playing.
All right.
So it helps to just learn your ins and outs. Yeah, exactly. And like I said, you know, no army is unbeatable in this game. Like I said, I brought guard to POW. I ended up taking the whole thing, which was
in 7th.
It was like, holy crap,
no, it wouldn't happen.
Yeah, but it's just knowing your army, knowing how to play, knowing what the meta is, and trying to build a list that can work around that. It's not some people there'll always be the people that will go with an army that is like known as being top tier and try to build around it. There's other people that will try to make their armies work.
Absolutely.
So, I mean, I would always say, guys, do your best. Try to make your army work if you want to play in a competitive scene.
Play what works for you.
Exactly.
And see, honestly, my favorite is seeing the meta and not so much building to the meta, building what is best against the meta, right? Because 95% of people, I just pulled that number out of my butt, but
as all statistics,
it's I mean, most people are going to go on the internet and take exactly what's there, right? They're not going to try and think outside the box. That is something. It's knowing those armies, understanding those armies, and then trying to figure out something that works for you that you enjoy.
The best tournament players, they know theirs, they know the others. It's the knowledge.
Well, you don't see tournament players winning tournaments with the armies that are on the net. Once they're on the net, they're already on to the next thing to try and beat what they maybe put out on the net, right? Like, that's their game.
That's the worst part about net lists is because people see them, they know them, and you bring them to a tournament. I've seen that online. I practice against it.
I know what to do.
I know what to do. And then they just peg off like the important units in the book, and before you know it, your opponent's like, holy crap, what just happened? Like, this list should be winning. It's like and remember, guys, local meta. Like, what wins the tournament in the States and California might not be the same here in Winnipeg.
Fascinating.
Like, we all run different. Like, we all play the hobby different. I know, guys, I've been up to Grand Forks. The level they play on, completely different to what we play here. Some people would like it. Some people would hate it. But it's just... that's how they play. You can't fault them for it. That's what they enjoy. Like, everybody takes what they want out of this hobby, and that's what makes it great.
Right.
So,
well, with that,
let's get into this. Let's dive into this book. Well, there's a few people asking about tanks.
The armored
I will get on that
tanks.
because I am an armored guard.
They want to talk about basilisks. They want to talk about there's some guard formation that has OBSEC. Tanks have OBSEC. So something about that.
So that is.
Let's go through it. Just keep that in mind. Like we want to dive into these tanks too. So we've got just over 20 minutes here. So go nuts.
Okay. So first of all, to address the tank thing, what it involves is if you take a battalion for guard, your basic troops, they get the OBSEC special role.
Right.
If you take a spearhead for guard and take Lehman Russes, heavy support option, Lehman Russes get OBSEC. So that's a nice distinction to make. So that is what you get with that. Now, just looking into it here quickly, I think it's just maybe heavy support, but so Defenders of Humanity, your Army's Battleforge, all troop units and Astra Militarum detachments, and all Lehman Russ units and Spearhead detachments gain this ability. So, for my reading of this interpretation, tank commanders, like Commander Pask, they will get the Defenders of Humanity warlord trait, so they will be able
if they're in the spearhead.
If they're in the spearhead, they will be able to hold objectives and count as being OPSEC, which is really cool. And people might be like, holy crap, that's really powerful. I think why GW went with this is those people who are big tread heads and love their Leman Russes.
Definitely.
This is so you can run all Leman Russ armies, but still have the capacity to hold objectives. Because the problem with some of these Leman Russ armies is some guy could throw maybe 2 gaunts on an objective, and all of a sudden that Leman Russ is no longer scoring. Yeah. I mean, or maybe let's say a Biovore or something. Like you got 2 Biovores. Like not something that's a troop can easily contest it. What they're trying to do here is like if you want to run lots of Leman Russes, go for it, and you can still have an option to do that.
Nice.
So that's what is talk about Defenders of Humanity. Now, orders. For the most part, they've all stayed the same. You still have your take aim, first strike fire, bring it down, forwards for the Emperor, get back in the fight, move, and fix bayonets. Those have stayed. Those are from the index. We also have regimental specific orders. So Cadia gets their own. Pound them to dust. It essentially, when you're rolling,
another one that had come up, right?
Yes, when you are rolling any Leman Russ top weapon random shooting profile. So a battle cannon. Say you move 6 inches. You get a single shot with your battle cannon. You do this order, either off of a tank commander, knight commander, passing on Leman Russ. So you roll a 1. Well, you did this order. You get to re-roll it. You get to re-roll one of the top weapon shooting profiles. So say you do the grinding advance. You don't move your Leman Russ, and you get 2 shots, and you roll a 4 and a 1. You can, if you have this order on your Leman Russ tank, you can re-roll the 1. You can't re-roll both, I'm pretty sure. It says right here, for the duration of this phase, you can re-roll the dice when determining the number of attacks the ordered model can make with turret weapons, as described in the Volumes of Ranks. That use a randomly determined number. So the number of attacks. Number of attacks. So I stand corrected. It's actually, you can re-roll all. So you roll double 1 snake eyes, you can re-roll that.
See what happens when you read a book the second time? You think you got it all down, you think you have an understanding, and then like boom. This is all comes down to like knowing your lists, knowing your armies, like we were talking about earlier. But anyway, keep going.
So burn them out is Kanachan. So you reroll dice when determining the number of attacks the ordered unit can make with flamers and heavy flamers until the end of the phase. In addition, units targeted by the smell don't get the benefit of cover. So that's cool. Definitely, and I find all these orders, these specialty ones, definitely fit. Definitely fit the fluff of these armies. Cadia, highly disciplined, bound them to dust, makes sense that they'd be able to shoot. Kanachan, burn them out. Let's be like, come on, these are the big muscle
fighters.
Vietnam, Rambo-inspired guys, rocket flamers and demolition charges. They definitely got the rules. Valhalla, fire on my command. The order unit can shoot the enemy units that are within 1 inch of friendly units until the end of the phase. But each time you roll a hit of 1, the attack is resolved against your own unit. That definitely fits the World War II Russian Valhalla-inspired Imperial Guard units. So basically, you're just shooting into the enemy, point-blank range. Doesn't matter if you're friend or foe. And let's be honest, for Valhalla and the Fluff, their guardsmen are fodder.
Fluff is not a word.
Sorry. For their backstory,
I insist fluff is a word.
The Valhallans are basically, they send suicidal troops. Like, that's all what they're about. Send in the next wave. That's what we got here with Valhalla, just shooting right into no one cares.
So what we're seeing is that the regimental orders really fit the character of the different regiments.
Yes.
Excellent, excellent.
Vostroyans, until the end of the phase, the ordnance unit can fire its weapons whilst within 1 of the enemy, regardless of the weapon type. If they do so, they must target the enemy units that are within 1, even if friendly units within 1 of these. Vostroyans, again, more of the name's not coming. Kozak. More of that Kozak theme, so more highly disciplined, definitely more regimented. They are highly trained soldiers, so that makes sense for them. Armageddon, mount up. This one's cool. Now, if you had a unit that disembarked from a Chimera and shot at a unit, the next turn, what you can do is you can put this order on the unit, they can shoot, and then they can hop back into their Chimera. So basically, they're just taking quick pot shots, whatever it is, and then they're jumping right back into the vehicle. So it's great if you, like, still have a squad of vets alive, if you still have a squad of guardsmen, and you want to keep them alive to go score a line breaker or score a farther objective. You basically shoot the guys, so you still get their shots, and then you run into their Chimera. Very useful.
Absolutely.
Talaran, they have a tank order because their backstory fits fits the mechanized warfare.
You've piqued my interest.
The ordered model can move up to 6 in this phase, either before or after it shoots, as if it were the movement phase. This does not affect how far the vehicle has moved for the purposes of determining how many times it can fire its turret weapon. So it's really nice because basically you can have your Lehman Russ out, still get regular shots, not take any suffer minuses, full distance, and then you can go hide it behind a wall so it doesn't get hit with like dive or something.
Tactics.
So tactics. Tempestus, I like this one too. You can reroll failed wound rolls for this model from the ordered unit when attacking any enemy vehicles or monsters. These guys are like elites. That's why they go for it. They go after the big game hunters. And Mordians, until the end of phase, or you can target characters with rapid fire weapons because they're highly disciplined and they pick out the guy that has the fancy hat over the guys that don't have fancy hats.
Those fancy hats, though.
Yes, I think we have a question.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah, we do. It's about the basilisks.
Yeah. So the pair. Something went wrong with our stream.
Stronghold basilisk platforms that do not need crew.
Yeah.
Are you talking about Forge Worlds, Basilisk platforms? Because
The Earthshakers?
the Earthshaker platforms. I've gone up against those.
No. Oh, is that what he's talking about?
I
specifically
think so.
saying.
Basilisks that don't need the crew.
Is there a basilisk that?
So that would be the vehicle, right?
Yeah, the Basilisk. Well, it's weird because when we were at the doubles tournament, there was just Basilisk platforms. Those Basilisks, the ones you talk about, like the actual Basilisk tank, they're pretty solid. They actually kind of upgraded them when I don't think it was necessary.
Well, what kind of boost did they get?
They got it, I believe, AP3 on the Earthshaker round, as opposed to it being AP2 before. Let's take a quick reference here. Let's take a quick gander.
But in the book, is there two styles of basilisks?
No,
the Forge
there's
World.
just one. Here we go.
That one's the Forge World unit.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
that's the Forge
he's talking about the Earthshaker platform.
From Forge World?
I guess so.
If it's from Forge World, what I found is they're cheap and they're hard to deal with. I don't think Forge World has FAQ'd them to have a better minus.
Do they not need a crew?
I'm not 100% sure. I usually don't use Forge World stuff, but what I found is they're 6 wounds. I think they're toughness 6 and they have a 4-up save. So
Be chewed out.
yeah, you can shoot a couple Kraken missiles their way and they'll die relatively quickly. I know people hide them behind terrain.
And there is the Forge World one that doesn't need the crew.
Yeah,
Yeah, there's a Forge World that doesn't use the crew. I would always say get those guys behind, like, people try to hide them, which makes sense. What I would recommend is always try to have some deep strikers, some outflankers. It's always useful to have. It's always useful to have something that can get in your opponent's back line, I find. So having something to deal with those is useful. And the Earthshaker cannons, like, again, it's a 4-up to hit with these suckers. They are useful, but
Tough 7 wounds, 4-up saves.
Okay.
Yeah, this is the one that doesn't require.
Yeah.
So it's heavy D6, strength 9, -2 to the save, and D3 damage. Roll 2 for number of attacks and discard the lowest. And it can target units that aren't visible to the bearer. In addition, you can have up to 3 of these platforms from a single unit. They deploy within 6 and then split up.
Yeah. Honestly, guys, they're big. They're big chassis, so it should be easy to gain line of sight to them. Like, remember, you can, if you see the tip of it, that's the line of sight. You can shoot it. So you definitely shoot at that. Like I said,
As
just
opposed
have
to the carriage battery, which has the crew. Yeah.
have outflankers. Try to have some deep strikers. Long range. I always recommend having some long range. Or if you're trying to get in close, have something that can get across the table quickly and tie stuff up very fast. Like Chaos. If you're running just Renegade chapters, I know they have the Dusk Raider Legion special rule, and this lets you move and advance. So bikers are 20-inch range. They can move, advance, and still charge. So Chaos bikers get 20-inch move essentially, and can easily tie up high priority targets. And then that's it. It's game over. That's the best way. You just gotta find ways of getting to them, or just playing the range game. Stay in cover. I mean, yeah, they have -2.
Cover's useless.
No, +1 to saves. Don't listen to Fabio. +1 to saves can be clutch. Sometimes you can ignore that random -1 that comes and goes. But anyways, back to the Codex. So some of the orders.
For 80-point platforms, that's incredibly efficient.
It's very efficient, but like it's guard shooting. So even if you get, we're just talk averages here. Even if you get a 6 shots, you're gonna hit half the time, which is 3. You should wound 2 times. -2 rend, so if it's hitting something with a 3-up save, more often than not, maybe you'll make a save, or maybe not. Exactly, it does D3 damage, and
for me,
D3 damage is
the lack of line of sight needed.
Lack of line of sight is scary, and I think that's one thing that needs to be addressed with artillery pieces. If they do not have, if you do not have line of sight to a unit, -1 to hit.
Yeah.
Because you're not as accurate. I don't know why they haven't changed that with artillery. I feel like that's a fair change. If you're able to target something that's hiding behind a building, you should be at a -1 to shoot it. I think that's only fair. Some artillery pieces do have that in the game, some do not. But that's
now, Ogrins, what's your opinion there?
Ogrins, I've seen some nasty combos with Primaire Psychers alongside Ogrins, because there's a psychic power that gives you +1 to your save. And people have taken Brute Shields and Slab Shields, a mix of both in the unit. And there's a stratagem for guard called Take Cover, which gives you +1 to your save. So I've seen these Ogrins rocking 2-up invuln saves with one of the shield variants. So those,
here we go,
very nasty. But again, that's what mortal wounds are for. I know it's hard to deal with.
But they're independent characters too, right?
No, Ogrins are a unit. So they're like just the big ogres. They're ogres of 40k.
Because I was reading somewhere that they all can act independently.
Oh yeah,
share
that interconnecting, that's Ogre and Bodyguard.
Okay,
and
so
whoever was saying that, like I think you still have to take wounds on an individual Ogren. Like if you start taking wounds on one Ogre and Bodyguard, you need to continue taking wounds. You can't just be like spreading them across. And
whoever you take the save on.
I saw that article. I saw that article, and the first comment in there basically just said, "Yeah, there's a rule in the codex that says you can't." I can't remember what it was, but it basically just said like, shut the whole article down and this over with. But I got more stuff I want to cover, like little itsy bitsy things to look out for. So I'm going to run through these quickly.
What about guard tank combos?
Okay.
I know you're going to talk about tanks because you are a treadhead.
Yes.
You like your tanks.
Guard combos. Give me a second. So a few things I want to go through. Supreme Commander. Now they've changed it. When you issue an order, you issue the order, you resolve it, then you move on to the next one. That was different. Before you just issue the order, then you would say like first rank fire, second rank fire on the unit. They got first rank fire, second rank fire on the units, and then you would
say all your orders.
Yeah, you would say all your orders, and then you enact them. Now you do the order, you enact it, then you move on to the next one, and they're done at the start of the phase. Tank commanders, they have something a little bit different. They can issue orders to any friendly Leman Russ. So now a tank commander can order Pask to do orders and vice versa, and then Pask because he's a friendly Leman Russ. Emergency plasma events. I wanted to cover this quickly. Index. If you rolled a 1, you would and you couldn't if you rolled a 1, and you had to stay with that 1. You suffered 6 mortal wounds. You can no longer fire any plasma cannons on that tank. High risk, high reward. I'm kind of happy they toned that down because that's like, if your first shot of the game, if you roll a 1, re-roll it, get another 1, you're screwed. Your tank's no longer firing. And you take 6 mortal wounds. That's insane. They changed it now. Each time you roll a 1, it's 1 mortal wound, and you can still fire the weapons. It makes sense. The emergency plasma events.
Makes sense a lot.
Yeah, it allows you to keep that tank firing because they were kind of underpowering. So a lot of the characters have kind of stayed the same. Conscripts, like we said, 4-up orders on them. Squads can only go to 30.
Now? Yeah.
20 to 30, yes. They've reduced the amount of command squads, so you can only have, I think it is 1 command squad per commander, and I think they even said you can only have 1 per army or detachment. Not 100% sure, but it's trying to eliminate that Scions plasma vet. Yeah, where everybody was spamming command vets for cheap plasma. By the way, plasma has been upped in points. Anybody who hits on a 3-up, plasma is now 13 points. Anybody that hits on a 4-up, I think it is 7 points. So it adjusted that, I think, very fairly.
That 6-point difference, I think, is a fair
I think it's very fair because you got your Scions like a deep strike in. I still think Scions with plasmas are very useful. It still light things up and get work done.
All right.
They're just definitely lowered the price. They've added like a couple extra units. Like, we covered Ogre and Bodyguards, which are pretty good. Hellhounds, they've changed them. Hellhounds are no longer 1d6, strength 6, like minus, I think, 2 or 2 damage. They're now, the Fertile Cannon is now heavy 2d6, strength 6, AP 1, damage 1. So they basically got rid of a point of damage, but increased the amount of shots you had. It makes sense. It's a Hellhound. It's supposed to be burning stuff out of terrain. It should have more shots, but not do as much damage. It's still just a flamer. Other things that have been changed, Baneblades. Some of these super heavies that are in the book get an extra shot. People are worried about that because there's things that you take from Forge World, like a Salamander or whatever it is, vehicle that gives +1 to ballistic skill. So you can give +1 to a Baneblade's ballistic skill. You give +1 to the Storm Shadow, the one that hunts knights, Titanic. That's gross. So it's hitting on
Cannon
3s.
is gross, especially when instead of 1d6 shots, it's 3d3.
Yeah, that's a hell of a...
That hurts me a little.
I don't know how to balance it, because I know they're trying to go for it. It's like you got this tank that you're basically spending, like, if you're playing 2,000 points, 1/4 of your army on.
Makes more sense.
So they want to make sure you're getting some good shots.
It just still is one of those that makes me go,
Yes.
oh, my heart, why?
And people ask about mechanized tank armies.
Here we go.
I definitely feel like tank armies are a sweet, sweet go-to. That grinding advanced special rule, in addition to a 10-point reduction. I know 10 points isn't a lot, but hey, that's like maybe a special weapon here. You know, special weapon here, something there, like heavy weapon elsewhere. It's really useful. Grinding Advance brings them up to a more usable set point, because before in the old edition, like if you math hammered out, Leman Russes weren't doing their damage in points, and you weren't, like, again, if you got 6 shots with the battle cannon, you'd be hitting 50% of the time if it's just like raw, and then you would get like maybe 2 wounds through. Like shooting these tanks, which were meant to be shot at infantry, are barely getting anything done, barely hurting anything.
Yeah, there was almost nothing.
I played them, and I thought at first they were really good, and then the more I played them, like, yeah, they're not doing what they're trying to do. The change where they get heavy, they're a heavy D6 if you move under half your movement value. So if you still have full wounds, Leman Russes I think can move 10. If you move 5 or less, and people are saying online, I'm part of this real guard chat, people are like, does 0 count as being under that?
Oh, I saw that.
0 is less than 5, so yes, if you don't move your Leman Russ, you do get to shoot double shots.
It is less than 5 for sure.
So I'm not a math teacher,
right?
but my math says that's good. And
no, I know they've got some interesting stratagems.
They do. They have some interesting stratagems, but like having Iberon Cadians, Knight Commander Pask, he's a boss now. I ran him in an Executioner. Everyone's like talking about Pask. I think in Punisher, Pask and Executioner, bee's knees. That's what I'm going to keep taking, especially now that he can't blow up and kill himself or as easily. He is definitely going to be rocking an Executioner. He's going to have 2d6 shots of the top gun, and I can use orders to reroll. Definitely useful. Leman Russ is the same thing. You can get lots of shots with them, doing damage. You keep them stationary with Cadia. They get rerolls once. That's really sweet about Regimental Doctrines. And I wish I could go a little bit more into them. Stratagems, guys, there are some strong ones in this book, like the Take Cover, where you get +1 to save, and anything can use Take Cover, just as Astra Militarum unit. So Leman Russes, whatever you want, can take cover. There's some cool ones like Fire My Position. If you have a infantry squad of 10 guys, and he has a Voxcaster, and he dies that turn, you can use 3 command points, and anything within 3 inches of him, on a 4-up, takes D3 mortal wounds. It's cool, because it's basically like danger close. He's like, call it in, they're like, well, you're nearby, and he's like, yeah, we're dead.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah, just like, we're gonna be dead, just kill these things.
Light them up!
Crush them is really cool. Sorry.
No.
Go and crush them, and then with 2 minutes left, summarize this.
Summarize some
crush them. Baneblades, really cool. 2 up to hit on your Baneblade, which has like 9 attacks.
That's hilarious,
and you're just you basically it fits.
There's also
there's
like
some
strength 8 and
strength 9, and they have a meme
9.
online where it's just like Baneblades for when you're tired of holding the line. And that's beautiful because basically you're just running over everything, and I like the idea of a Baneblade running over Chaos Space or something.
I quite enjoy that myself.
So summary of this codex, they basically kept a lot of things the same. Some things that needed to get cheaper that weren't used as much definitely got it. Some stuff that needed to get boosted did. There has been some nerfing here and there, which hasn't been.
Trade of
I
nerfs
think it's a
boosts?
fair trade. I mean, conscripts will still be used. There's always going to be that one unit, but honestly, guys, you just shoot the crap. Like, conscripts are not that threatening. You don't really have to worry about them until later. Shooting's not it. Psychic Discipline, I wish I could go into more about it. But honestly, highlight quick. Psychic Barrier, add 1 to the unit's saving throw. Night Shroud, this one's also sick.
So
-1
save, but saving throw.
Saving throw. That's why you get that 2-up invuln. And
sexy.
Night Shroud, -1 to hit with anything that targets one specific unit. So if you got a unit on objective and you want to keep it on objective, cast Night Shroud, -1. What I was going to tell, Kyle went over this before. Awesome combo. Koros Aquila is a relic. Each time your opponent uses stratagem, roll a d6 on a 5-up, you get a free command point. And then there's a Warlord trait for guard. Honestly, the Warlord traits for guard are pretty solid around the board.
They're very solid, yeah.
But I'm going to be honest, my go-to is going to be Grand Strategist, because each time you use command points So if you use a 2 command pointer, you roll 2 dice on a 5 up. If you get like a double 6, you get both those command points back. If you use a single one, you roll a dice, you get that. If you roll a 5, you get that command point back. So it's going to be a lot of recycling, which is going to
go into stealing their command
you're
points.
stealing command points. You're recycling your.
You're recycling the ones you stole.
It's going to be
like,
yes. They also have specific warlord traits to each regiment. So Cadia to Mordian, if you choose. From what I've read, they're actually pretty good for the most part. I wouldn't complain too much about taking them. But to me, Grand Strategist really takes the cake because command points are key. You have lots of good stratagems that you want to use, and it's really, really useful. Don't worry, Tom. He's just giving me the floor. Other than that, guys, I would say this is a solid book.
What do you
I
say?
would say don't worry too much about the army. There's going to be a month from now, we might be bitching about nits. And then after that, we'll start. I'd say, guys,
1,000 Suns.
1,000 Suns. You know what, guys? We just need to play it by ear. Like, a lot of courses are being shot out like month after month, and the meta's changing ever so quickly. Like, look at the Stormraven Stem. Old GW, like maybe 5-6 years ago,
that would have still been a thing,
that
right?
army would have been lasting for years.
All right, guys.
Now it's like it's already gone. Anyways,
all right.
time's
So,
up.
fortunately, we are being told that we have to stop talking. Essentially, Brenden has to stop talking.
That's okay. We could get.
That's a lot to get
We could
through.
do
Yeah,
a series.
We could have
of
done-
podcasts.
I could
with
do like
Brenden
an hour.
talking about
You know,
the
maybe
army.
hour and a half
maybe we'll
of
get him to do a
this.
write up and post it on the 40
I would
PG
absolutely
page or
love
something
to
like
see a
that.
little
But
bit
anyway,
here.
Honestly, I'll
all
do
right,
a
guys.
video.
We have
Brenden,
to
thank you for
get
joining
going.
us.
Brenden, thanks for coming out, big
Gentlemen,
guy.
thank
Always
you.
a pleasure. Thanks for the insight.
And remember,
Nice to be
If
here.
you're rolling, if you're not rolling ones,
yeah, you got it.
if you're not rolling ones,
You're
cheating.
cheating.
Nailed it.